You're out here and you just moved to Calabasas, which I find really interesting because normally there's like different levels between like your hometown and Calabasas. That's kind of like the top echelon level. What made you decide that you had to get out of your hometown?
It was like I just needed a new place of scenery. You feel me? Just change it up. And it's like I love every time I come to LA, like I love it. It feel like home to me. You feel me? When I'm down here. So it's like the next trip I made down here, I just didn't want to leave. I went crib shopping, you feel me?
For real? So you in one of the gated communities or something?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking big. Honestly, this is my first year that I've been to like, I've been to Travis Barker's house and Lil Pump's like rental or whatever. And it's like, next door to Kim Kardashian's house and shit. So I'm the only one who's like standing in the front yard, like looking around and shit, trying to like catch a glimpse of like Travis told me like Kendrick Lamar lives next door. I'm like looking out the window being like, man, that's Kendrick's house. Oh no. But so you like the lifestyle in Calabasas?
Yeah, it's pretty chill, like secluded area. So you feel me? You be to yourself, get to think a lot.
What do you do for the most part? You play basketball or like do sports or anything, or you just like focus on the studio?
No, I do both. Like I be hooping a lot. Like
Okay.
I might slide to a 24-hour fitness. Then you feel me? Or I'm just at the crib writing or at the studio.
Okay, nice. So, all right, you're pretty new to the game though. You've only really like been how long have you actually been making music for?
Actually, like a year and a half, 2 years.
Year and a half. Okay, growing up north side of Chicago though, tell us a little bit about your upbringing before we even get into making the music.
On the north side of Chicago, it's rough. It was rough coming up, but it's like as a kid, everything was like more light. It's more innocent. You more innocent. It's like, then like growing up, you grow into the things that you end up like being in, like the streets, the gang banging, etc. All that.
But all the stuff that people like make a big deal about in terms of like being from Chicago and stuff, it is a weird dynamic because you don't necessarily think about all that when you're a kid. To you as a kid,
Right.
That's just normal, right?
Yeah. As kids, it's just little stuff, you feel me? We think it's fun, we think it's a game, but then it's like somebody died and then now it's serious.
Do you like recall anything when you were a kid that like seemed normal to you, but now when you think about it, you're like, man, that was some wild shit.
Like just the thing that it just sit on your subconscious, like you walking around, you see hypes, dope fiends every other day. That ain't normal. Seeing people even be shot or anything, that's not normal. But as a kid, you just think, oh, this was my area, so this just how it is.
Yeah. Would you ever get in trouble? You ever get like wrapped up in all that shit?
No, not really. Like when I was a kid, like I got older and I got into a lot of that shit, like as far as like catching cases. But when I was a shorty, like I was just cool.
Mm-hmm. So what? Yeah. How would you describe yourself? Like when you were, going through your childhood, like all the way up through high school and stuff. Like what kind of kid were you, and like what were you doing to fill your time? Because some kids are just dying to jump into the bullshit right away when they're really young.
No, that wasn't my. You feel me? That wasn't me. It was like back then when I was younger, I used to watch all my other homies. They jumping off the porch and getting into that shit, and I used to look at that shit like, no, I ain't trying to get on that.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? I want to hoop. But then it's like the older I got, the more experiences I went through that led me to the streets. You feel me?
What were you listening to when you were real young? Like what was the music that you started out being interested in?
Wayne, I was big Wayne, Lil Wayne. Yeah, that was like one, like I done knew how to rap since I was like 9 years old. So it was like I used to always listen to Wayne to catch the metaphors to know how I want to approach it when I get to rap.
Yeah, a lot of people like kind of forget that Lil Wayne, especially to like the younger generation, was just such a role model to them. Yeah. And it's weird too because he is older, or was a bit older, but I feel like to the young rap fans, he felt very young to them. Like he really represented what motherfuckers were into.
Yeah.
Were you influenced by Keef, or what was your viewpoint on what he was bringing to the table?
I mean, Keef got like a global influence. Like that's just a given. Feel me? He was legendary in what he did, like the steps he took. So
I've just had so many people on here that were basically describing having like a pretty innocent like childhood, and then all of a sudden Chief Keef came out, and then all of a sudden shit changed, and he's like, people have been in the studio multiple times and just been like, yeah, everything was all good, we were dancing, we were having fun in life, and then Chief Keef came out and everybody started shooting each other.
No, because that's probably an out of town outlook because that's how strong his influence is. But Sosa just was coming up on the same thing that happened in generations before him. Like Chicago ain't never been nothing nice. You feel me? So it's like Chief Keef was a one in a million, but you feel me? He stepped up and you feel me, separated himself from everybody else.
Definitely. Was there any stuff that made you want to make music in particular, or like what was the moment that you decided like I need to get serious about this?
It's like it was just like when I just started seeing a change in like my career. Like I started seeing like feeling the buzz that I was catching. I started seeing people notice me, wanting to stop me for pictures, and that's when I was just getting hundreds of thousands of views. And then you feel me, during my incarceration, like every time I phone home, like people was telling me like, you feel me, your music going up out here, you going crazy. And then just sitting throughout that time, I was just thinking about it heavily. Like when I get out, I'm gonna be at that nonstop.
But getting like your first 100,000 views or even your first 50,000 or whatever, that's a crazy feeling. I know you got songs with like 20 million now, so it's a little different. But when you first hit 100,000 plays, you had to be thinking like, damn, I really got something going on here, right?
Hell yeah. It's like I was humble throughout my whole entire process of my career. Like when I first even hit 1,000 views, when I first hit 10,000, etc. So you feel me? Like I just was like grateful for every little step that it took for where I'm at now.
So how long had you been making music for when you caught this case and got locked up?
You saying how long since then?
Well, like how long had you been making, or how serious were you taking music before you got locked up?
It was like 2 or 3 months before that. Like I was really serious, like clamping down on it. No, I would say like, I say extend that a little more to like 6 months, really. Because it was like I was dropping music consistently, you feel me? And then all the way up until that point, that was my little halt in the music thing. But then when I came back, I hit the ground running again.
Were you doing it on SoundCloud, or you had a YouTube presence as well?
No, I never had made a SoundCloud.
Oh, okay.
Like I was just off YouTube, going off YouTube. And then it was like I used to do a lot of like interaction on Facebook. Like I get on Facebook Live and just start rapping, or I drop a snippet and it'll go viral. That's really where it started, like on Facebook.
That's funny because we never talk about Facebook on here, but we had a little TJ in here the other day, and he was talking about Facebook too.
Yeah.
You guys are coming from the same point of view. But Facebook, we were both saying, he was like, Facebook's more like your neighborhood. Like,
yeah.
Instagram's everybody else.
Yeah. It's like the famous people on Instagram.
Yeah. When I go on Facebook, I get to see like some dude I went to high school with, and he's talking about Trump, which it's not. I don't see that when I go on Instagram.
Yeah.
Nobody likes Trump on my timeline on Instagram. And there's nobody that I've known for like 30 years either. Okay, so what'd you get locked up for?
It was drug-related cases.
So what were you doing? You were driving around with something on you?
No, I was hustling.
Okay. And how'd you get caught up?
Simple, like police strolling through the hood, catch you up.
They ran up on you. What'd they catch you with?
It was really little stuff. It was like, that case in the back, like this, it's past me. You feel me? I served a little time. So what?
How long you go in for?
I was only in for like 2 months.
Okay.
Came right home.
And so you got a lot of thinking done while you were in there?
Hell yeah. It's like, that's all I could do was think up and up. That's all I could do.
What were the main conclusions that you were forced to come up with, though?
It was like, I got to do better for myself, because it was like I got locked up a lot of times consistently before that. And it was all little sit downs, but it was like, I don't want this to get worse. And then that's what even made me think, like, the track I got out, the finer things, that's what even made me think and to come up with that. I'm like, yeah, I need to be doing better for myself, etc. So that's where the line come, grinding for a new life, and etc.
Yeah, see, I like that lyrical content in that song in particular, because it's true that there is like a phase in your life, I feel like, especially when you're young, where you're not acting in your own best interest and you're getting caught up just doing stupid shit and basically just doing stuff that is affecting your life in a negative way, but you feel like that's how you have to go about things. And like when you get to a certain perspective, like, and especially I feel like it happens to a lot of people when they get locked up for a period of time and they're just like, man, like I got to change, like I have to do something different with my life. So were you writing music while you were in there, or are you more of an in-studio type of person? I
wrote a lot of music, but really I'm a home writer. Like I like to go in the studio prepared, but it done been times where I'm just sitting in a stool, and then it's like I come up with another hit, like just feeling that vibe. But it's like that's more so rare. It's like I'm more of a home writer.
So you listen to beats at home, or are you just gonna like pull out your phone randomly and start writing down a lyric that popped in your head?
Both. Like I could just freestyle just off the top of the dome, and then I have some a producer send a beat to me that's gonna match up with it, or it's like I have a producer send me a cold beat, and the minute I hear it, I got something to it.
Right. Yeah. So do you ever punch in? Do you get in the studio and just go crazy on your own, or do you have a freestyle in the booth, or is it like more thought out beforehand?
I hate freestyling because it's like you ain't a lot of times you won't be saying nothing for real unless you cold with it. I don't really like freestyling. It's like you saying whatever come to your head, and like I want to think what it is that the point I'm trying to get across.
Yeah, like freestyling is good, but at the same time, like that's the reason why there's so many people that just rap and like the first 2 bars are not related at all to the next 2 bars, and it's just sort of all over the place. I do feel that with your music, that it feels more thematic, like you're actually trying to tell a story or paint a picture.
Yeah.
So was there what was the first song that really made you feel like, holy shit, like this is actually becoming like a real thing, like my career is actually, like after the jail thing? Was it Finer Things?
It was Never Cared.
Oh, okay.
It was when that was only hitting, you feel me? That was the first song I ever had to hit 1 million views. But when I dropped, like I say before, I was dropping snippets on Facebook. No snippet that I ever dropped on Facebook got like 680 shares. That's what the Never Care snippet did. And it was like a little Snapchat video I made just rapping in the bathroom. And it was like, it was going up, and I'm like, dang. I'm like, I gotta hurry up and record this song. The minute I recorded the song, it was going up. It's like I got 10,000 in a day on the audio. That was the most I ever had on the audio. I'm like, yeah, this the one.
Right. Did anybody like reach out to you early on, or on like a street level or a music industry level to try to like help you with your career or get involved in any way?
It was a couple of people. It was like a lot of people. It was like I was big on the market, the music market, I guess. It was like people on the lower levels of labels, of course. It was like a lot of people was just trying to get connected with
They see the numbers on YouTube and they just, their mouth starts salivating. So, what was your perspective on that? Like, I know you did sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, when did that decision start to become obvious? You heard out a lot of different offers from labels and shit?
Yeah, I met with a lot of people, and I was just filling everybody out because I didn't want to put myself in a situation that was going to be uncomfortable for me or I was going to regret. So, you feel me? It was well thought out. I met with a lot of people, and you feel me, Columbia. You feel me? That was the best fit for me.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, I had a meeting with the president of Columbia to listen to the new Lil Peep album a couple months ago, and I mentioned you right away. I'm like, so what's up with Polo G? Tell me about him. And he was like really surprised I even knew about that. And I'm like, that's my whole thing. I'm supposed to know about that. Okay, hopefully you guys enjoyed this throwback clip. If you did, show some support. Like, comment, subscribe, and head on over to nojumper.com if you want to support, or go on over to Snapchat and just search No Jumper. There's a link in the description. We've had our news show dropping a couple times per week, and I swear you're going to love it. Balling like an athlete, but got no jumper. Appreciate y'all.